There is a place where the moon keeps her quiet hours, a place unknown to clocks, and yet faithful to every heartbeat. It is a library, but not the kind built by hands alone. It sits in a valley of powdery silver, its walls grown from pale, translucent stone that sighs when starlight passes through. The door is a curved gate of glass, etched with threads of constellations, delicate lines that meet and meet again, like friendly paths. Inside, shelves rise like low hills, not towering or stern, but easy and kind. Each shelf holds volumes that glow with their own small light, gentle blues, tea-warm golds, and shy violets, books that hum the softest hush when a palm draws near. Tonight, a traveler arrives. Her name is Mara, and her hands have known paper and ink since childhood. She has crossed a plain of moon dust, each step a slow, graceful hush, guided by the silver moths that nest in the library's lanterns. A ribbon of quiet follows her cape as she pauses at the threshold. Mara tilts her head, listening. It is very nearly silent here, yet she hears it. The subtle breath of pages, a kindly flutter, shh, as though the books are pleased to have company. Within, a table waits with a teapot shaped like a crescent boat. The steam spirals up, releasing the scent of warm jasmine and something more delicate, the fragrance of paper warmed by a window. The keeper of the library steps from between two shelves. She is called Celine, not because she rules the moon, but because she keeps its rest. Her hair falls like a dark waterfall across her shoulders, and her eyes carry the patient glow of dimmed lamp wicks. She smiles a welcome that needs no sound, and Mara bows in answer. The keeper pours tea into small cups of thin porcelain. The sound is tiny, neat, a good sound, the way a lid nestles into its place. With tea in their hands, they sit together at a low table that looks carved from a single piece of frost. Celine gestures toward the shelves. The gesture says, "This is yours to wander. The story is ready when you are." The narrator suggests another steady breath here, quiet in, quiet out, so that the heart may slow enough to hear what books will say when they are kindly asked. The library seems to breathe with them. The lanterns dim, then brighten, dim, then brighten, as if in sympathy with the human pace. Mara sets her cup down and lets her fingers hover above the nearest spines. No titles are written, yet each volume introduces itself by the shade of its glow and the tiny warmth it offers to her fingertips. One is the color of tide water at dusk. One is the color of candle smoke. One is as soft as a cloud. When Mara touches the dusky one, she feels the smallest pull, like the way a lullaby tugs at a busy thought, leading it toward rest. "This one," she says, and though she speaks softly, her voice seems right at home here. Celine inclines her head in approval. The keeper, almost in a hush, that the books of this place do not tell stories the way earthly books do. They tell them like old friends do, with pauses at the right moments, with glances toward the window, with familiar kindness. They remember a listener's tiredness and make room for it. Some books sing, some murmur, some are content to glow in silence until their reader's breathing is slow and regular. In this library, a book will not begin until the reader has relaxed enough to be safe within the tale. Outside the window, the moon's horizon curves like a shoulder. The stars hang near, not cold, but companionable, blinking in a rhythm that could be mistaken for the rise and fall of restful breath. The earth is a blue pearl set in the black, small but not lonely. It watches and is watched, a quiet friend at the edge of vision. The silver moths drift through the lantern light, dusting the air with a shimmer that falls and lays itself across the covers of the nearest books like fine, benevolent snow. Mara's eyelids grow a little heavier, not with sleep yet, but with ease. She thinks of the first book she ever loved, how she turned its pages with sticky fingers, how she could almost hear the paper exhale when she found the right place. She remembers a blanket that smelled of laundry and sun, a corner chair that kept her safe, the kind hand of a librarian who never hurried her along. That hand lives in Celine's voice now, and in the moon's library, nothing important is lost. All good warmth waits for the hour when it is needed again. Celine rises and leads Mara to a wooden lectern that glows from within, a soft ember under the surface. The keeper's palm smooths the air above it, and the lectern warms a touch more. Mara places the dusky, tide-colored volume upon the stand. For a moment, they do nothing at all. It is not a long moment, but it is deep, and in it the body remembers how to be still. The narrator invites another lazy breath in, counting the inhales like steps on a gentle stair. Then an even slower breath out, as though smoothing a sheet across a waiting bed. Only then does Mara open the cover. The pages do not rustle so much as sigh, like lips meeting the rim of a warm cup. The glow of the book lifts, bathing her hands in a faint sea blue light. The first line does not appear as letters, but as a soft strand of sound that curls into words once it finds the comfort of listening. Celine steps back, and in her smile there is the quiet pride of someone who has set a lamp upon a table for an old friend. The room holds steady. The air is gentle. Somewhere, a clock that never ticks continues its faithful silence. The library is ready. The book is ready. Mara is ready. And the story, very patiently, begins to breathe. The first story unfurls like a ribbon of light across a dark room. It does not hurry. It does not announce itself. It simply appears like steam above tea and learns the shape of the listener's breath before speaking. Mara leans a little closer, her hands resting on the lectern, her fingers warmed by the sea blue glow. Celine stands a few paces back, not as a watcher, but as a guardian of pacing, a keeper of hush. The page brightens and becomes a window. It opens on a quiet shore beneath a sky the color of slate and pearl. Here, on a distant world with 3 small moons, there is a library made of driftwood and woven rope. A woman sits on its steps and sings to the tide. The tide sings back. The legend calls her the weaver of tides. She listens to the ocean's dreams, then knots them into tiny bracelets of seagrass and leaves them on the library windowsill for travelers to find. Her bracelets teach the wearer how to breathe with the water, slow in, slow out, so the sea will never startle them. Mara finds herself breathing along, in through the nose for 4 heartbeats, and out through the mouth for 6. A gentle warmth spreads from her collarbones to the center of her chest. The whisper's voice is so soft that the waves lean in to hear. Shh, hush. The bracelet glows once, then fades to a steady comfort, like a hand resting lightly on another hand. The page sighs, and turns itself. The second legend arrives with a different hue, candle gold and tender. It tells of a lantern that burns at the edge of a comet's path. No flame, only a patient light fed by stories heard and kept. The lantern keeper, an elder with star-spark freckles, polishes the lantern each evening with a cloth that once lined a cradle. He says to those who pass, in a voice like a blanket being unfolded, "May you remember what is kind in you when the sky is fast." Travelers come from orbits near and far, tired from swift crossings. They set down brief burdens, an anxious thought, a loop of worry, and the lantern holds them, not to keep, but to soften. The legend does not fix or solve. It simply accompanies, becoming a small, steady beam that follows a traveler until their shoulders ease. Mara feels the echo of that beam at her back, a friendly presence like a shawl. Celine pours another cup, and the tiny ring of porcelain, tick, then rests, seems to agree. Another page. The library's lanterns dim with the turning, then rise again as if exhaling. This third legend is blue-violet, night blooming. It speaks of the house between seconds, a quiet room that appears when a person does not quite arrive at the next moment. In that house, time hangs its coat, sits and waits with good manners. A kettle murmurs on a low fire, while a clock face simply listens. Those who enter leave with a pocket full of pauses, small as seeds, to plant throughout the day. A pause before answering, a pause before stepping into the street, a pause before sleep. These seeds grow into clearings where the mind can rest and choose gentle paths. Mara places one of those seeds behind her ribs, where it becomes a small, round, quiet, perfectly sized to fit beneath the heart. Celine's fingers brush the edge of the lectern, and the story stream softens, as though it has taken the librarian's cue. "You may ask," she breathes, "and the book will show." Mara nods, and the question that rises is a simple one. How do stars remember us when we forget ourselves? The book answers by deepening its light. The pages become a dome, and inside the dome, a night sky paints itself with slow patience. Constellations sketch, erase, and redraw into shapes that look like ordinary comforts. A kettle, a rocking chair, a pair of slippers, the slope of a hill. The dome hums a lull of gentle consonants. Shh, which puddle near the floor like warm milk. They remember you, the dome says without words, by the small peace you leave behind each time you sit, each time you soften, each time you choose a quiet kindness. Stars keep that record for you until you are ready to wear it again. Mara sits back, cradling her cup. The jasmine's steam curls against her cheek. The moths float at shoulder height, as if they wish to hear the rest. A soft itch in her shoulders loosens as she rolls them low and wide. The narrator offers a short, tender practice here, like a librarian pressing a cloth weight to a page so it won't flutter. Let your forehead smooth. Let your jaw unhook. Let your tongue rest behind your teeth. Feel your hands softening, your hips heavy, your feet warm. Inhale as if smelling a fresh page. Exhale as if fogging a window to draw a heart. The fourth legend comes like a snowfall of gentle letters, the map of pockets. It shows a traveler, one of us, walking through a day with secret pockets stitched into their coat. One pocket holds the memory of a friend's laugh. Another holds the feel of a wooden banister polished by years. Another holds nothing at all to stay light. As the traveler moves, they place small pieces of worry into the pockets and find that the coat does not grow heavy. In this legend, pockets are not for carrying, they are for transforming. Worry set within them becomes lint, then softness, then a thread that can repair a frayed cuff. The legend suggests a quiet thought. Nothing you set down in care will be wasted. It will change into something gentle and return when needed. From the window, earth hangs like a lullaby half remembered. Celine glances up at it, and in the curve of her mouth there is a promise that the library makes to all its visitors. No one leaves with less light. The book's glow lowers to lamp warm, a welcome dusk. Mara lifts her palm, and the page listens. A narrow ripple runs across the surface, and the fifth legend arrives, the color of distant rain. It is the only legend in the volume that opens with a sound, a soft patter that is more suggestion than weather. The rain that reads returns to any place where pages are open and minds are quiet. It does not wet or chill. It touches the surface of thought, the way a fingertip touches calm water, just enough to make rings travel outward. In those rings, old stories loosen, and new, kinder ones find space. The rain that reads is what some call inspiration, others call grace, and many never name at all. The book names it with no letters, only with a feeling, the sense that for a few breaths, everything is exactly where it should be. Mara and Celine do not speak. Words would be useful, but not better. The moths settle, the teapot cools, the shelves hum the smallest melody of presence. Shh. The lectern's ember dims to a coal, friendly and faithful. The narrator suggests one last sweep of breath across the inner sky, like a caretaker closing windows for the night. Breathe in and gather the shore, the lantern, the house, the pockets, the rain. Breathe out and let them arrange themselves, each in its soft place inside you. The book's cover draws itself near, but does not close yet. It waits, sensing Mara's rhythm. Her shoulders have fallen, her brow is smooth, and the corners of her mouth are untroubled. Celine steps forward, and with a kindness that feels like a quilt being pulled to the chin, pages a finger width ahead to the final section, a path that leads from story into sleep. The book knows when to close, the way a tide knows when to turn. Its glow draws down to a soft pearl, and the last line of the last legend places a small bookmark of quiet in Mara's chest. Celine stands near, hands folded over the sleeves of her robe, and the lanterns follow her breathing, gentle up, gentle down, until the whole room and everyone in it is moving at the same calm pace. Somewhere, a silver moth settles on the curved window and folds its wings like a letter finally read. Celine does not hurry the ending. Endings in this library are not doors, they are quilts. She guides Mara toward a reading nook tucked between shelves, where a low couch waits. It is covered with a blanket that holds a memory of sunlight, and the cushions feel like warm sand. The floor beneath is cool and steady, a moonstone's reassurance. When Mara sits, the couch receives her the way a quiet lake receives a leaf. No splash, only a soft of welcome. The teapot offers one last delicate note as Celine sets the lid true. The tiny sound rings and then rests. In and out. Count 4 easy beats in, and let 6 even beats drift you back out. Again, 4 in, like drawing a curtain of soft air. 6 out, like smoothing the bedspread's edge. The shoulders respond first, loosening. Then the brow releases its crease. The jaw unhooks. The tongue floats behind the teeth. The throat becomes a small clear hallway where air can pass without effort. Each breath feels like a page turned by a careful hand. Celine lifts the blanket and lays it across Mara's knees. Its weight is the friendly kind, the kind that says, "I'll keep the edges of things from wandering." She tucks at the sides with the thoughtful accuracy of a long-practiced keeper, palms brushing out any wrinkles of the day. The shelves hum the lowest note of approval, a sound so quiet it might be imagined. Shh. Mara's eyes grow heavier, in the way eyes do when they understand they are no longer needed for a while. Beyond the window, earth rests like a calm candle in the dark. Not far, not near, just right. The stars blink the slow blink of a creature already half asleep, a blink that says everything is watched over. Celine dims the lanterns to a dusk gold. She does not say good night. She says in a voice shaped like safety, "Let the stories keep telling themselves for you." It is the way of this library. Once a visitor is tucked, the tales lean in and read the listener like a favorite book. Lines of kindness trace themselves across the inside of the mind. Chapters of quiet arrange themselves neatly on the shelf of the body. Head, throat, chest, belly, hips, knees, feet, each one finding its place. Crown of the head, smooth as a pebble warmed in a pocket. The space around the eyes, someone has drawn the curtains. Cheeks, slack and pleasant. Lips resting together like 2 pages closed. The neck, long and untwisted, floating in its cradle. Shoulders, they slide down and back, away from old weather. Arms and hands, heavy with good work finished. Chest, a tide that promises to return. Belly, a bowl not needing to be filled. hips, anchors finding sand, thighs, knees, calves, clouds drifting low, ankles and feet, the last lamps turned low, a hush, nothing to hold, nothing to do. Mara's breath takes on the room's rhythm, and the room adopts hers in return. The book on the lectern, now closed, keeps one sliver of light under its cover, a nightlight for the mind. Celine slides a small cushion beneath Mara's wrists, lifting the hands just enough that the fingers can forget themselves. She places another beneath the knees so the lower back can soften into the couch. The simple geometry of comfort completes itself. The library listens and smiles. Outside, a dusting of lunar breeze passes the doorway. It says shh through the slight opening, like a parent in the hall. Within, the silver moths shift from flight to stillness. The shelves, made of translucent stone, keep breathing their slow, glassy breath. If there is rain, it is only the idea of rain, the kind that belongs to the legend, the rain that reads, gathering not on roofs, but in thoughts, turning crisp corners of worry into round, harmless pebbles. It fades to a memory of sound, a hush, a pillow of hush. Celine sits nearby with her own blanket, a quiet sentinel with closed eyes. She does not watch, yet nothing escapes her care. The keeper's presence is like the weight of a cat at the foot of a bed, a soft assurance that the night knows what it is doing. She hums once, the smallest thread of melody, just enough to stitch the edges of the moment together. The hum blends with the shelves, then with the breath, then with the silence, until it is not heard but understood. The narrator offers the last gentle practice, a landing as light as moon dust. Imagine that each exhale places one slim book back on a shelf. With the first, you shelve the day's last conversation. With the second, a task that can wait. With the third, a thought about tomorrow. With the fourth, even the thought of sleeping. No book is lost. All are kept for the morning. The shelves accept them without a sound. Space opens. In the space, warmth. Mara's face has the look of someone floating. The corners of her mouth rest in a kindness that is not forced. Breathe in, like a tide touching the shore. Breath out, like the tide returning to the deep. In, out. Shh. The couch remembers every person who has ever rested here, and lends that memory to her bones. The blanket remembers every shoulder it has covered, and shares that comfort with her skin. The library remembers every visitor who needed a story to fall asleep, and it begins to read for her now, line by line, without words. The lanterns dim 1 degree more. The earth tilts unhurried in its window frame. Celine's head settles back. The book's last pearl of light becomes the dot of a firefly, and then the idea of a firefly, and then a pleasant velvety dark. Nothing sharp remains, only the round, slow night. When morning is ready, it will arrive on quiet feet. For now the moon's library keeps its watch. Mara drifts, easy as a page carried by a breeze, and the stories turn themselves. Shh. Sleep gathers, gentle and complete, and the library tucks it in.